Morning, Shelly. Morning, Becca. Oof. Heavier than I anticipated. What's the matter?
You said I don't know.
That's John. Someone tell John we don't wear things like that. Oh, yay. Good job, Grace. Perfect timing. How's everyone doing? Did everyone see the abomination of the pants I posted last night? If you didn't see it, you might want to. It's pretty funny. I don't like it, but I do laugh at it. They're pretty bad. Pretty bad. Good morning, Amanda. Dude, Amanda, how good did your slime turn out yesterday? I'm mailing that today. Good stuff. My hair's everywhere. You gave an explanation? Oh, I'll have to look. It's a good thing I ordered coffee. One of the website in the description says nothing interesting. That's a bummer. I'm going to buy them and excessively advertise your book while wearing them. That's pretty funny. Pretty funny. I hope you do, Grace. I hope you do. In fact, Grace, I would pitch in to pay for them if that's what you were going to do with them. If she's going to advertise my book while wearing them? How much do they cost? I don't know. I didn't look. How much do the jeans cost? Did anyone look? KK and Nancy wants to know how much they are also. Really? You think they're expensive? Really? Yeah. Well, all weird fashion is expensive. Yeah, that's fair. You were filtered? Why were you filtered, Becca? I don't understand. I think someone who's a mod should automatically not be able to be filtered on my live. Like, that just feels... Designer inside-out jeans are probably very expensive. Yeah. But what makes them designer? Has anyone ever heard of that website before? I guess. Morning, Jen. Jen, did you see the pants? I need to know. Jen's always got good, funny opinions.
Mango!
Mango!
It'll be funny. We just yell mango. Unrelated.
They probably know why we're yelling mango. I think it's this way.
It's not what you guys think.
It's not?
No. We just yell mango.
I did order coffee, Liz. Thank you. Yes, I did. I missed the pants somehow. They're on Liz Cindy. It's the most recent video on my page. You can't miss it. They're right there, and they're very. We are ready. $89.99. Oh no, never mind, Grace. You can't have those. No. You can't have them for $89. We're not buying you $90 jeans when they're that ugly.
For a joker.
Yeah, too expensive for a joke. If they were like $25, I'd buy them for you for the joke, and then you can wear them in every video where you talk about my book, and then I would consider it.
It's possible to get cheap jeans for that much anymore.
I mean, I buy my jeans at thrift stores, so I get them pretty cheap. I can go buy denim and hand sew them myself and pay myself the labor for cheaper. I know, right? Yeah, you could. Yeah.
If you have an old pair of jeans,
yeah, if you have an old pair of jeans, just do that.
Invert both
okay, for science.
That's all they did.
Yeah, it's literally all they did. It's really awful. I don't know what they were thinking. It reminds me of people wearing leggings under jeans, but worse. It is worse. They also have fully inside-out jeans, not just the legs. Oh, good for them.
They keep going.
They keep going.
So when I looked at it, my idea was stop at the belt.
Stop at the belt and have
go inside out all the way to the belt, and then you have a belt of normal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I buy jeans from Troy because they're extra short. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, My favorite jeans are a pair of Madewell jeans that I got at a thrift store for $12. They were originally like $150, but they were $12 to me, and I literally wear them at least once a week, so they get their fill, that's for sure. But why not just wear your jeans inside out? Well, because I think you can't, right? Because like the pockets would be weird, the belt part would be weird. You get your longest lasting jeans at TJ Maxx, that makes sense. Are you still, I don't buy jeans. It involves, so that solves the problem. Oh, I mean, that's fair. I wear a lot of leggings, but like if we're going out or something, I wear jeans. Yeah. We're going to Ralph today, right? Or one of us is, I am, maybe? I have to go to the post office anyway. I might as well just go there. Get the stuff. Because we need creamer, regular milk.
We don't need creamer.
There we go.
Oh, the sugary stuff.
And we're out of milk as well.
Not sugary stuff.
Yeah. And then we probably need more frozen fruit, right? At this point.
Yeah, it couldn't hurt.
There are those two secret boyfriend. What do you want? Is that what you want for your birthday? Oh, they have that where it just goes up to the belt. Becca wants to know if that's what you want for your birthday. You guys share a birthday, so.
Oh, I do not for a birthday.
You don't?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. No, thank you. Wait, isn't your birthday really close, Becca? I thought your birthday was really close to Secret Boyfriend's birthday. Am I out of touch with reality? He does not want a blue nubby baby, Liz. Stop lying to people. Stop lying.
If you give me a precious blue baby nobby boy, we will take care of it.
No, he's lying to you. We will not take care of it.
I will let him sleep between me and Sasha.
Oh, your birthday's the same as Secret Boyfriend's, Nissa?
I guess I'll have my birthday. Should I say it if I said it once?
Probably. Wait, Becca, when's your birthday? Have I put your birthday wrong in my phone? Yeah. Oh. I see. Okay. No, it's not, Becca. No, it's not. Becca, you can't just keep your birthday to yourself after telling us that it's not the day we thought it was. That's cheating. How dare you? How dare you? You don't know your birthday? Liar. Stop being a liar. I don't believe you for a second.
My birthday.
Oh my gosh. Tiffany's birthday is Valentine's Day. She said it's almost as bad as Christmas. Do you agree?
I think that's somebody also close to that today. I agree. It's not great.
On my 2024 vision board, unlock Becca's birthday. Yeah. Yours falls on Mother's Day a lot. My aunt's birthday falls on Easter a lot. But we always celebrate Easter at her house anyway when we were kids. So we were just like always there to celebrate her. There's someone that knows my birthday because we share it. Okay, so there is someone that I mean, I am a sweetheart, but having to buy everyone else a gift stinks. Yeah. No, I don't think Renee's here. Wait, does Renee share your birthday? You graduated high school on your birthday? That's a nice gift. Is it Renee? No, a customer. Oh, a customer who shares your birthday. Oh. It's too early for guessing games. It's 70 degrees there, Brittany? How is that possible?
Where? In Hawaii?
No, Brittany's not in Hawaii.
Where is she? Where it's 70 degrees?
That's what I'm wondering. Never too early for a guessing game. My male cousin's birthday is on International Women's Day. That's funny. I share a birthday with someone who we talked about online before. Oh, really, Jennifer? Who? Wait, what's your birthday? I guess we'll find out.
Britney Spears.
Britney Spears' birthday is December 2nd.
That's your sister's birthday.
All right, bye, Katie Nancy. We'll see you later. April 19th. Oh, no. Becca's birthday's not April 19th.
It's almost 420. So close.
So close.
So close.
Yeah. What do we think's going on right here? Yes, that's true, Shira. I have the hiccups. Swoop, swoop.
Swoop.
That, my friend, is hair. All right, so...
I'm very close. Sorry.
What?
I'm very close.
Oh, I wasn't worried. Is noon too late to bring my kid to school? Nah. Oh, wow. She was almost a 4:20 baby. She was born at 11:57 p.m.
I mean, what are her parents doing?
You're welcome, Anya. Your secret boyfriend thinks your parents screwed that one up real bad.
I mean, just hold it in, lady. Come on.
Hold it in, he says. Hold it in.
Good, hold on for 3
Like you're talking to...
For 3 minutes?
Actually, Amanda, I disagree. Amanda said there's no worse birthday than 229, but I think 229 is kind of cool.
What's wrong with it doesn't exist.
It only happens every 4 years.
That's awesome. You never age.
Yeah. My mom could have crossed her legs or something.
Cross your legs, lady.
Oh, that's funny.
If I was a doctor, I'd be like, cross your legs right now.
Grace said her Catholic grandparents were married on 420. Wait, Amanda, you actually know a leap year baby? Wow. That's fun. Oh, I would have been the person who like milked it for everything. I would have like gone places and been like, yes, I'm 4. And they'd been, you don't look 4. I know, weird, right? That was my grandma's birthday. She had a big birthday every 4 years. Yeah. I know, Becca. Becca almost had Halloween babies, and she's saying she should have waited another day if she could, so they would be Halloween triplets. They had to pick a different birthday for his certificate? Really? Why? That's not fair.
So, you would be almost 10 years old if you were a leap year baby. Is that right?
Almost.
Yeah.
Cradle robber.
We couldn't be together.
It would be too weird?
Problematic. Problematic to say the least.
That's a good reason, Becca. I didn't know that you had to pick a different day. You'd be almost 10 years old. So good.
Not good.
Halloween triplets sounds like a nightmare. Well, it gives her a lot of costume options for Halloween. Like, you know, Lock, Shock, and Barrel is an amazing costume because she has 1 girl and 2 boys, so it just worked out. Oh, it's Smoothie Dance time. There's so many great costumes for triplets. Smoothie Dance! That's fair, Amanda, because if they put a different day for government reasons on like your birth certificate and stuff, how are you ever going to prove to anyone you were born on the 29th? I think that's unfair. I think they should let people have their birthday.
What's that mean?
She said that her nephew, who was born on leap year on the 29th, they forced his parents to pick another date for the birth certificate and government stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
I know. I don't think that's fair at all.
I guess just the computer systems can't handle it, so they probably did them a favor by not having to have like a hassle of a birthday, right? Where like a bunch of government IDs would be able to handle it, and then the kid just constantly have a hassle because of it.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't blame them. State governments are incompetent. You don't want to deal with that.
No, that's true. But then how's he
go
ever...
to DMV and tell them that day, they're like, sorry, it doesn't work. And then you're just like, what?
But how is he ever going to prove to anyone that he was born on that day?
I think not having hassle in life is you know, it's better.
All right.
I mean, if you're friends with somebody, you tell them that, but they don't believe it.
You think so?
Well, if you're not known for lying, then
That's true.
weird.
Yes, the government gets 2 thumbs down from us, Grace. That's right.
Always.
Yes. 2 thumbs way down. Guys, oh, hey, guys, really quick. This is serious for a second. Oh, really? That's weird. Tiffany said her husband's uncle didn't have a middle name and the military made him choose a letter. I don't have a middle name.
See, I told you. I tell you that.
Yeah. I was like, I don't remember.
You should choose a middle name.
I should choose a middle name?
Yes, it's cool.
I don't know. I've never had one before.
Sasha Velanaqua.
What? Absolutely not. It's up to the doctor. Oh, weird.
Hey, everybody choose a middle name for Sasha.
No, I don't have a middle name.
Choose a middle name. She has to choose one soon. You don't like this wine.
I did like it. I was just too tired. I'm sorry. At least we didn't pay for it.
It's okay. It's not a sorry. I just thought it was fine.
No, really. I don't have a middle name, Becca. It's true. I really don't.
Sasha Alexandra?
Just do Anne. It's everyone's middle name. Uh-huh.
Toucan?
She said just use Anne.
Oh, well, that's true.
Oh,
Although
no.
Many actually.
Yes. So the serious thing that I was going to... no, Becca, it's not. The serious thing I was going to say is I am really, really struggling to write the blurb for the back of my book. Like, I am struggle bussing. You'll write it?
Yeah.
Tell me what you would write right now.
You're gonna... Okay, so you can't write it at all, and you want me to write it on the spot.
Yeah.
How's that fair?
Well, you just said you could write it.
Yeah, all right.
What would you say? Give me an example.
I'll write it.
But give me a line, an example. I went through like 17 first lines last night,
17 first lines.
and none of them stuck because they're not great.
Okay, so there's
Do you want me to give you like an?
no, like in the mysterious, dark, rainy land of Oregon. Something like that.
That's not right. That's not right.
Yeah,
That's not gonna sell a
imagine
rom-com.
a prince and a pauper and an Oregonian.
Okay, that is not anything like where I had been headed with it. I can tell you. Do you want to hear a couple of the first lines that I workshopped and then scrapped?
Yeah, okay. It was the best of Oregons and it was the worst of Oregons.
That's true.
Go.
So, buy this book because you'll like it. That's a good one. One of the lines that I had was, there's a 3-step, the set the scene, peak the problem, and ask a question. Yeah, I know, it's just, so the, like, mine were starting with, like, Emma Prescott thought she was American. That is, until the prince showed up, like, things like that. Or, maybe, Jen, maybe. And then there was another one that said, like, Emma Prescott never imagined her life under the thumb of the monarchy, but who would, living in Astoria, Oregon? That's kind of where.
Thumb.
The thumb of the monarchy.
Do you need to add a giant thumb to the cover?
No, please, no thumb.
Like Monty Python style, just like over top of everything.
Eh.
I'll take a picture of my thumb and put it on top of Monty Python.
Another one was like, you know, I like that. I thought she was American until the prince walked in. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe that I was going for. You know, I don't know, but I haven't been able to like really like latch on to something. I like typed and deleted a million different things last night. It was not great. It was also like midnight, so. What about every girl dreams of being a princess, but... Oh, that's interesting, Jennifer. Whoa. Whoa. That actually is a pretty interesting bent. Every girl dreams of being a princess, but she didn't expect the prince to actually show up and own the town. That's pretty funny, actually.
Isn't that spoiling it?
Yeah, a little bit, but it is funny. I mean, the back of the book kind of does spoil a little bit. I don't know. Most girls dream of being a princess. Most girls don't dream of a prince showing up in Astoria, Oregon to tell them they actually own the place.
The problem is,
She did not see
the story
what-
isn't about her becoming a princess.
No, she doesn't become a princess, and also she is. Cindy's right. She's not the type of girl who would wish to be a princess. Yeah, Sarah Beth is the type of girl to. So what it could actually say
Most
is,
girls dream of being a princess, not like
Right.
Astoria, Oregon.
yeah, or it would be like Emma Prescott never dreamed of being a princess. Her friend Sarah Beth really wants her to be one, though.
I mean, bring Sarah Beth up on the back.
I know. I wanted to be a mermaid doctor as a kid. Oh, you know what's really funny about that, Grace? That's Zoe's current thing that she wants to be. Zoe's currently a mermaid doctor.
Limited clientele.
Zoe is currently a mermaid doctor, you guys.
She's gonna be in debt for the rest of her life, paying back those school.
This is no longer book club. This is Help Sasha Write Her Blurb Club. Yeah, I mean, you know, I do it. That is book related. Mermaids need healthcare too. Yeah, Zoe currently refuses to take off mermaid clothes, but also refuses to take off all of her doctor stuff. So, yeah, I think maybe you were saying you wanted to be a doctor for mermaids. She's a mermaid who's a doctor. So maybe it's confusing. But she's real cute doing it. Yeah. I don't know. We'll maybe she's both. It's her mer job. That's right. Yeah. Well, and also you have to remember my mom's a doctor, so Zoe sees, oh, grandma's a doctor and Aunt Sasha's a mermaid, so why not be both? Definitely sounds like, yes, it is. Oh, Becca, I think I told you, Becca, that she's gonna come see her. Catherine's gonna bring her. I think I told you that. I laid the guilt on thick. I said, she only has brothers. You have to help this child. Catherine was like, okay, we'll go. Yeah. I made it very funny. And Catherine was like, I mean, Zoe too, though, right? And I was like, yeah. Anyway.
I mean, it's a little... Zoe has one brother. What are you talking about?
And boy cousins.
They're lucky. Lucky.
Who's lucky?
Boys are the most fun.
Not those two boys.
I bet they're fun.
They're not. They're pretty boring.
Wow, too mean.
Not her brother, her cousins.
Her brother is not fun. He's a flop.
She seems to think he's fun. What's brother's code name again, Gustav? Oh, Catherine doesn't care. You can call him Ethan. How does Cindy reconcile independent women and the title princess? It's a good question. It's a good question. Gustav is the best playmate. Zoe loves him so much. Are we ready to read, you guys? Let's read, and maybe a blurb from my book will come to me magically. Oh yeah, Catherine doesn't care. She says it all the time. We had a code name for him in the beginning before she had told everyone his name, but yeah. All right. Chapter 20, Professor Wallet's Secret Laboratory. The Zibling mobile zoomed through the streets of the big city, USA, tossing Alex and Connor around in the trunk like clothes in a washing machine. Every turn was sharper than the one before. Every acceleration was more forceful, and the vehicle never slowed down or came to a stop. It only had two speeds, fast and faster. Who the heck is driving this thing? Alex asked. Blaze just got his license, Connor said. He's a little zealous about it. The Zibling mobile ran over speed bumps, causing the twins to slam into the top of the trunk. And I bet his driving puts more people in danger than all the robbers and criminal masterminds combined, Alex said. It was pitch black in the trunk, so the twins had no clue which street or neighborhood the vehicle was cruising through. Connor was able to track their whereabouts to a certain point, but Blaze's reckless driving was so discombobulating he didn't even know if they were still headed towards Professor Wallet's laboratory. Yeah, they really don't, Cindy. They really don't. How much longer are we going to be in this thing? Alex asked. I feel like scrambled eggs. The laboratory is deep underground, just a few miles outside the city, Connor said. At the speed Blaze is driving, it shouldn't take much longer. And how exactly do we get to the laboratory? Alex asked. I'm assuming there's more involved than just surface streets. Well, they have to go into the big city lake, through the sewer, and down the abandoned subway tunnel, Connor said. Can their car go underwater? Alex asked. Of course the car doesn't go underwater, Connor said. It turns into a submarine first. The twins heard a bunch of mechanisms moving through the vehicle as it converted into a submarine. Then they heard a big splash outside, and a moment later, the trunk began filling with water. We must be in the lake, Connor said. I thought you said the vehicle turns into a submarine, Alex said. Well, apparently everything but the trunk, he said. Gosh, I never thought that I'd have to be that specific. Alex snapped her fingers and the water stopped. The Zibling mobile moved to the sewer and the twins gagged and covered their noses with their shirts. There wasn't enough magic in the world to keep that smell out. The Zibling mobile converted back into a car and its tires touched solid ground again. The vehicle rattled and shook as it drove over the tracks of the abandoned subway passage. It was so bumpy that the twins became nauseated. Right before they were about to vomit, the car came to an abrupt stop. They heard the vehicle's doors open and close as the Ziblings got out. Connor popped the trunk just a crack, and he and Alex peered out. We're here, he whispered. This is Professor Wallet's secret laboratory. The underground laboratory was built on a former subway platform. The Zibling mobile was parked on the subway tracks below it, and it was only one of many methods of transportation. There was a Zibling jet, a Zibling speedboat, a Zibling motorcycle, Zibling segways, and even a Zibling carriage with robotic horses. The laboratory had everything a superhero's base could need. There was a wall of televisions with live news feeds from every major city in the world. There were giant computers, microscopes, test tubes, data servers, and generators. In the center of the laboratory was a big red light bulb that went off whenever a crisis occurred. All the appliances were neatly labeled in case there was any confusion over what the object was. Not only was Professor Wallet a devoted astrophysicist, he was also a proud father. The laboratory was decorated with photos of his adopted children and tokens of their accomplishments. The Ziblings' very first superhero suits were framed and hung on the wall. There was a lit candle with a plaque that read, Blaze's First Flame. A lock of hair and a pair of mangled scissors were on display and tagged, Whitney's First Haircut. There was a photo of a trash can wearing sunglasses marked, Morph's First Transformation, and another photo of toddlers sucking on a glowing light bulb like a binky labeled, Bolt's First Spark. There was also a wall cover with a giant map of Big City, USA. The map was bordered with mugshots of all the criminals the Ziblings had brought to justice. Pieces of yarn stretched from the mugshots to the places on the map where the criminals had been caught. Each Zibling had a corner of the laboratory filled with personal belongings. Blaze had a collection of hot sauces, matches, and fire extinguishers. Whitney had a vanity full of hair products, industrial-strength brushes, and combs. Morph had framed butterflies, moths, beetles, wasps, and shelves of photography books, all inspiration for metamorphosis. Bolt had a desk where he made figurines out of old batteries. Oh, okay. All right, that's cool, Amanda. That makes me feel better. Whitney printed out 5 mugshots of the Rat Pack and placed them on the wall with the others. Blaze went to the computer and dialed the number on the keypad. What are you doing? Bolt asked. I'm calling Dad, Blaze said. He needs to know you left the laboratory without permission again. Tattletale, Bolt said. A few moments later, Professor Wallet appeared on the computer screen. He was an older man with a gray beard and thick glasses that magnified his blue eyes. The professor held his communication device way too close to his face, and the camera was aimed up his nostrils. Hello, children, the professor said. Is this an emergency? I'm about to step into a meeting with the German chancellor about her new antimatter research program. It's not an emergency, but someone snuck out of the laboratory to fight crime on his own again, Blaze said and nodded at Bolt. The professor rubbed his eyes under his glasses. Oh, Bolt, he said disappointedly. What am I going to do with you? It's not fair, Bolt said. Blaze, Whitney, Morph were allowed to go fight crime on their own when they were my age.
Young man, we've been over this 100 times, Professor Wallet said. Your abilities haven't reached their full potential yet. The radiation from the asteroid reacted differently with each of your DNAs, meaning your powers will peak at different times than your siblings. Remember, not all flowers bloom in the spring. I mean, yeah, that's a kind of a big deal, Amanda. Well, what if I'm more like a Venus flytrap than a flower? Bolt argued. Maybe my powers are just waiting for the opportunity to show up. Well, science doesn't work that way, the professor said. I don't make the rules to upset you. I make them to protect you. You're grounded until I get back home. Bolt grunted and stomped his feet. He sulked over to the corner of the laboratory, zapping Blaze on the ear as he went, and then pouted at his desk. I'm being summoned to the Chancellor's office, the professor said. I'll call you tonight when I get to my hotel room. Tell the Chancellor we said hello, Morph said. And tell her I love the new highlights, Whitney said. The professor looked confused. Of the antimatter program? He asked. Whitney said, no, Dad, in her hair. She said, oh, of course, the professor said. I'll pass the message along. Goodbye, children. The professor hung up and disappeared from the computer screen. The siblings went to their respective corners to decompress. Blaze drank a bottle of hot sauce like it was water and did push-ups. Whitney's hair unbraided and brushed itself while she flipped through a magazine. Morph looked at a photography book and practiced transforming the objects he saw. Bolt played with his battery figurines and tied a tissue around one to give it a cape. What, Becca? Oh, I don't know, because you weren't DNA twisted. Connor quietly closed the trunk of the car to have a private word with his sister. Here's my plan, Connor said. We're going to get out and tell them we're reporters from the Otherworld Times, a syndicated school newspaper that runs 25 states. We're going to say we're looking to do a personal interest piece on the bravest, strongest, smartest superhero in the country, and to prove which one of them deserves the title, we'll take them to the fairy tale world where whomever defeats the most soldiers in the literary army would be the winner. What do you think? No, they weren't born that way, Becca. Oh, you missed yesterday. They weren't born that way. They're superheroes. They were like messed up by some cosmic spill of vileness. I don't know. They weren't born that way, though. Alex definitely saw some flaws in her brother's plan, but she kept them to herself. She was still consumed by guilt from her realization at the bank. She never wanted to discourage her brother again. Well, brilliant, she said. That's a great idea. No, it's an amazing idea. Gosh, all your ideas are so wonderful. I don't even know how you do it. Even though the trunk was dark, Connor gave his sister a funny look. Something was up. Alex was never that supportive. He worried that she might have hit her head in the car right over. Alex, are you feeling okay? Before she could answer, the red bulb in the center of the laboratory started flashing and a loud siren went off. The siblings jumped to their feet like protective canines and ran to the wall of televisions. They scanned the screens and saw a frantic reporter on the French news. Blaze turned up the volume and pressed a button so the reporter's words were translated to English. Paris is under attack, the reporter said from the newsroom. Mad scientist and criminal mastermind known as the Snake Lord, notorious for his interaction with the siblings in Big City, USA, has taken over the Eiffel Tower. The news program played footage from the Snake Lord earlier that day. He was a tall, muscular, middle-aged man with a villainous scowl. His eyes were yellow with narrow pupils like a reptile. He wore a large helmet shaped like the head of a king cobra and long purple cape. The Snake Lord licked his lips and exposed a forked tongue. That's the slithering son of a gun, Blaze said. The Snake Lord was accompanied by two sidekicks, a man and a woman, and neither appeared to be completely human. They had scaly green skin, large nostrils, and reptilian eyes. The man had an orange mohawk and a collar like a frilled lizard. The woman had red horns and nails like the claws of a raptor. Collared Joe and Lizzie Liza are with him. Collared Joe and Lizzie Liza are with him, Whitney said and raised a lock of her hair at the screen. He's got more friends than that, Morph said. Look! The three criminals were followed by a long procession of thousands and thousands of serpents. There were boa constrictors, pythons, anacondas, and even tiny garden snakes. The serpents were colorful and moved behind the Snake Lord like a slithering rainbow. The news showed footage of the Snake Lord and his scaly accomplices storming the base of the Eiffel Tower. They knocked down security guards in their way, and hundreds of tourists ran for their lives. The snakes formed a circle around the Eiffel Tower and didn't let any of the Parisian police pass. I have caveats, not enough characters to explain why, but I got an email and I was excited about it. Oh. Well, we're excited to hear. The camera zoomed in on the device the Snake Lord was carrying that looked like a mini satellite. The Snake Lord has the reptilizer? Bolt said in horror. At this time, the Snake Lord has not made any demands and isn't holding any civilians hostage, the reporter said. It is a complete mystery as to why he has come to Paris and what he wants with the Eiffel Tower. The siblings shared fearful looks with one another. It isn't a mystery to us, Blaze said. We've got to get to Paris and stop him. Siblings, to the jet! The four superheroes ran straight to the sibling jet parked on the subway track. Connor was more upset by the news than any of the superheroes were. Oh, this is terrible, Connor said. Hold the phone, Alex said. The Snake Lord? The reptilizer? You never mentioned any of that before we left. Well, that's because I forgot how short the story is. It moves much faster than the other stories, he said. The Snake Lord is the siblings' arch nemesis. He was a scientist who used to work with Professor Wallet. A failed experiment turned him and his research assistants into partial reptiles. When Professor Wallet couldn't reverse the effects, the Snake Lord became evil, and he invented a helmet that gave control over all reptiles. The reptilizer is his newest invention. It turns mammals into reptiles. It has to be activated from the tallest point in a city, and that's why he's at the Eiffel Tower. So once he activates it, he'll turn everyone in Paris into a reptile and be able to control them? Alex said as she figured it out. That's intense. Oh no, that sucks, Anya. The siblings climbed aboard the jet and strapped themselves into their seats, but Blaze blocked Bolt from entering. What do you think you're doing? Blaze asked. I'm going to Paris to fight the Snake Lord with you guys, Bolt said. No, you're not, Blaze said. You heard Dad. You're grounded. Oh, come on, Bolt argued. The Snake Lord is the toughest bad guy we've ever fought. You're gonna need help. Exactly, which is why you need to stay in the laboratory, Blaze said. We'll have our hands full saving people of Paris. We won't be able to watch you. If you come with us, you'll just be a burden. Bolt's posture sank in almost an entire foot. He had never been called a burden before. But I'm a superhero, Bolt said with a quivering lip. Blaze sighed. No, you're not, he said. You're just a little kid with tricks. Blaze closed the jet's door in front of Bolt's face and joined Whitney and Morph in the cockpit. The engines roared and the siblings' jet rocketed down the abandoned subway, heading for Paris. Bolt waited until his brothers and sister were gone and then burst into tears. He went to his corner of the laboratory and cried at his desk. Once it was out of his system, he tried to make himself feel better by playing with his homemade figurines. He picked up the one with the tissue cape and moved it through the air like it was flying. Hero, here he comes to save the day, Bolt said, pretending he was a news reporter. It's the world's favorite sibling. It's Bolt. Fantasizing about being a real superhero only made him feel worse. Bolt crumpled the figurine up until it was nothing but a pile of used batteries. He rested his head on his desk and continued crying. We need a new plan to recruit the siblings, Connor whispered to Alex. Any ideas? Alex? He turned to his sister and saw that the sad little superhero had brought Alex to tears. In fact, she looked sadder than Bolt did. Alex, are you okay? He asked. Connor, I'm so sorry, she sniffed. Sorry for what? Connor asked. I'm sorry if I ever made you feel like that, Alex cried. I know you don't remember, but there was a time that I treated you exactly like the siblings are treating Bolt, and I just like them. I had no idea how much I was hurting you. This story is much more personal than you think. It's about us. Alex, I think you're overreacting, he said. You just don't see it, Alex said. Since we were kids, people have always compared us to each other. Everyone always shamed you for not getting good grades like me, for not being mature like me, or for not being as organized. Even no one ever made me feel bad for not being more like you. I had no idea what it was like, but now that I'm watching Bolt, I see how painful it must have been. At first, Connor thought his sister was crazy. There was no way a silly story he wrote could have been that meaningful, but the more that she explained it, the more sense it made. Alex had always been capable of so many things. She was like a superhero in his mind, and like a superhero that he could never live up to. I apologize if I ever made you feel bad about yourself or made you feel left behind, Alex said. You've always been so supportive of me. I should have returned the favor more often. You're so gifted and you deserve a lot more champions than just Mrs. Peters. I'm sorry it took a trip into your stories for me to see that. Connor had no idea what to say. He looked around at the world of the Ziblings as if he were seeing his own story for the first time. The Ziblings had arrived in Paris. Oh, sorry. That's a quote, it's... The Ziblings have arrived in Paris. I repeat, the Ziblings have arrived in Paris, the French reporter announced. Parisians can take a deep breath. It looks like help is here. The twins were still sitting on the trunk of the Zibling mobile. Connor was trying to come up with a new plan to recruit superheroes, but all he could think about was his sister's analysis of his story. Was there really more to the Zibling story than he had realized? So what happens next? Alex asked. The Snake Lord captures the Ziblings at the Eiffel Tower, Connor said. When Professor Wallet returns to the laboratories, he gives Bolt a pep talk that boosts his confidence. Bolt goes to Paris to save his brother and sister, and when he faces the Snake Lord, the rest of his powers kick in and he saves the day. Oh, Professor Wallet must be based on Mrs. Peters, Alex said. She's the person who gave you the confidence to write and activate the rest of your abilities. Stop analyzing and focus, Connor said. Professor Wallet doesn't get back to the laboratory for a week. We need to boost Bolt's confidence or we'll be stuck here for a couple of days. Can't you just go to Paris and save the Ziblings ourselves? Can't you and I just go to Paris and save the Ziblings ourselves? No, the Ziblings are too divided right now, Connor explained. We need them to work as a team if we want them to help us fight the literary army. When Bolt saves them, he restores their family bond. Got it, Alex said. So how do we make him confident enough to go? Connor scratched his head and thought about it. He peeked out of the trunk and saw that Bolt was still pouting at his desk. He wants nothing more than to be a superhero, Connor said, so let's make him feel like a superhero. We'll still pretend we're student reporters from the Otherworld Times, but we'll say we're doing a story about him. Alex nodded. All right, let's look the part, she said. She snapped her fingers and a notepad and pen appeared in Connor's hand. Alex snapped again and a camera appeared hanging around her neck. The twins quietly crawled out of the Zibling mobile and tiptoed across the subway tracks and climbed onto the platform. Connor knocked on the wall of mud shots like it was a door. Excuse me, he called into the laboratory. Is this Professor Wallet's secret underground laboratory? The voice startled Bolt and he jumped up from his desk. He had never seen strangers in the laboratory before. He eyed the twins suspiciously and made fists with his hands. What are you doing in here? Oh, my goodness, Connor said. This is the incredible Bolt himself. We must definitely be in the right place. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're seeing him in person, Alex said. The twins acted starstruck. They giddily jumped up and down like they were meeting their idol. Their enthusiasm made Bolt stand a little taller. Who are you? He asked. How'd you find the laboratory? Well, I'm Connor, and this is my photographer, Alex, Connor said. We're from the Otherworld Times. Professor Wallet didn't tell you that we were coming? Yeah, it is, Anya. Well, it was yesterday. It's not raining right now, no. Low security for this lab. Yeah, seriously. No, Bolt said. What's the Otherworld Times? It's a syndicated newspaper that's printed in over 25 states nationwide, Connor explained. We're here to do a human interest piece on you. We asked our readers who their favorite Zibling was, and over 70% of those polled said it was you. Congratulations! Bolt couldn't believe it. His eyes grew wide and his mouth dropped. He had never been anyone's favorite anything before. Me? He said in shock. But, why? Connor hadn't thought this part of the plan through yet, so he looked to Alex for help. Because you're the Zibling that our readers identify with, she said. They think it's very brave of you to fight criminals much bigger and older than you. You inspire young kids around the country to go after their dreams despite their size or age. Bolt held a hand over the lightning bolt on his chest. He had never been so honored in his life. I never thought I was so inspirational, he said. Would you mind if we interviewed you and took some pictures? Connor asked. Would I mind? Bolt asked. Please, I insist. The superhero checked his reflection in the computer screen and straightened his hair. He pulled up 2 chairs for him and Connor to sit while they chatted. Connor scanned his blank notepad as if it were full of questions. Alex walked around them and took photos while they spoke. Now, tell us, what's it like being a superhero? Connor asked. Bolt hesitated to answer, and truthfully, he'd never felt more unlike a superhero than today. But he didn't want to disappoint the readers of the Otherworld Times, so he gave the answers he thought they'd want to hear. Well, it's the best job in the whole world, Bolt said. The asteroid hitting our orphanage was the best thing that ever happened to me. Connor scribbled down notes so quickly he wasn't even writing real words. Well, what's your favorite part of being a hero? Connor asked. Oh, that's easy, Bolt said. Helping people. I love seeing the relief in their eyes after they're rescued from a burning building or a runaway train or a sinking ship. Actually, I've never saved anyone myself, but I've been with my brothers and sister when they have. The thought made Bolt a little sad and he sank in his chair. Connor quickly changed the subject to keep his spirits up. Our readers love watching you fly, he said. Do you have any special techniques for when you get off the ground? All right, Grace, see you later. Bye. Actually, I'm still working on the whole flying thing, Bolt said like it was a secret. Hopefully I'll get better at it one day. Never go so high that you're afraid to look down. That's my motto. Words to live by, Connor said. And what about the electricity you produce? Where does that come from? Well, according to my dad, my body generates a lot of friction which pulls the electricity out of the environment around me, Bolt said. Right now I can light up a 14-watt battery all by myself. I'm hoping to get to 16-watt by the end of the year. That's very impressive, Connor said. It makes perfect sense why our readers say they prefer having your powers over any of your siblings. Really? Bolt asked. That's crazy, because most of the time I wish I could switch. I think it would be so cool to be able to create fire like Blaze or turn into stuff like Morph or use your hair for chores like Whitney. The more Connor buttered him up, the happier he became. With every picture Alex took, Bolt had a bigger and bigger smile. So far, their plan seemed to be working. Nice. This is all such great stuff, Connor said. What would you say to someone who wants to be a superhero as amazing as you? It took Bolt a few minutes to respond. He'd never thought anyone would want to be a superhero like him. He wanted to give his followers an answer from his heart. I suppose it would be never give up, he said. Courage is what makes a superhero super. Suddenly, the red bulb at the center of the laboratory lit up and the crisis alarm sounded. The twins and Bolt turned to the television and saw that the situation in Paris had become much worse. Breaking news, the panicked reporter said. The Snake Lord has captured the siblings. I repeat, the Snake Lord has captured the siblings. Something has gone wrong in their attempt to save the city. There is no information at this time of what the Snake Lord is doing at the Eiffel Tower or what he's planning to do with the siblings. The news played live footage from a helicopter circling the Eiffel Tower. Blaze, Whitney, and Morph were wrapped around the base of the tower's antenna by a large anaconda. They were so close together that Blaze couldn't use his powers without burning his brother and sister. It was so tight between them that Morph couldn't transform into anything. A rattlesnake was covering Whitney's head like a turban, constricting her hair. The Snake Lord was standing on a small platform at the very top of the Eiffel Tower's antenna. Screw by screw, he attached the reptilizer to the antenna and connected it to the tower's power. He operated unwaveringly and never looked up from the device. Bolt was horrified to see that his family had been captured, and even though they'd known it was coming, Alex and Connor pretended to be just as surprised as he was. This is awful, he said. The Snake Lord's going to turn everyone in Paris into a reptile. Well, good thing there's still one sibling left who can save them, Alex said. The boy shook his head and paced back and forth. He couldn't fathom facing such a threat without the help of his brothers and sister. I can't defeat the Snake Lord on my own, Bolt said. My powers haven't reached their full potential yet. I'm no match for him. I'll play those of Sasha different voices. That would be really funny. Sure you are, Connor said. You're the Otherworld Times' favorite superhero. No, I'm not, Bolt exclaimed. Your readers got it wrong. I'm not even a real superhero. My own family said I'm just a boy with tricks. The Snake Lord's going to win, and there's nothing I can do about it. Bolt went to his corner of the laboratory and sat at his desk. Alex and Connor exchanged worried glances. They'd built up his ego only to watch it collapse like a building under demolition. I don't think we can convince him, Connor said to his sister. To be honest, I'm not sure I would go to Paris if I were in his shoes either. But you were in his shoes once, Alex said. Bolt is you. He represents the little boy inside you who used to doubt himself. You have to be his Mrs. Peters. Tell him exactly what you would have wanted to hear. It was unsettling how Alex understood Connor's characters better than he did, but that's how he knew she was right. He let out a deep sigh and walked over to Bolt. Hey, for what it's worth, I know how you feel, Connor told him. I used to doubt myself a lot. When people told me I wasn't good enough, I believed them. It's hard not to when you're young. Tell me about it, Bolt said. Does it get better when you're older? It did for me, Connor said. How? Bolt asked. Someone believed in me, Connor said. All it took was one person's approval, and suddenly I believed in myself too. It gave me a shield to block out all the doubt and negativity. It made me realize I was just as capable and deserving as the people I compared myself to. But you know what? I was wrong. You were? Bolt asked. Totally, Connor said. I didn't need someone else. I had the confidence in myself deep down inside the whole time. Approval's just a shortcut to self-worth, but sometimes we have to find things out on our own. Sometimes, if we want something bad enough, we have to inspire ourselves to get it. Sometimes we gotta be our own superhero. Out of everything Connor had said, he could tell this resonated with the boy the most. If he wanted to help people, maybe he had to start with himself. But what if I fail? Bolt asked. What if the Snake Lord wins and I don't save anyone? Then I'll never be a superhero. A very wise man once told me courage is what makes a superhero super, Connor said. He never said anything about succeeding. Bolt looked down at the pile of used batteries on his desk. If batteries had feeling, he imagined that they'd feel the same way he did. Useless, crumpled, empty. But if he could glue junk together and turn it into a hero, he knew that he could make a hero out of himself, too. Bolt stood up from his desk and looked Connor in the eye. Let's go to Paris, he said. I've got a family and a city to save. Attaboy, Connor said. He patted Bolt on the back. The contact shocked Connor's hand and he yelled, "Ow, sorry, I forgot who I was talking to." How am I supposed to get to Paris in time? Bolt asked. My brothers and sister took the jet. Lucky for you, Alex said. I just happen to have a teleportation device. Oh wait, sorry, wrong voice. Lucky for you, Alex and I happen to have a teleportation device, Connor said. It'll get us there in a matter of seconds. Alex did a double take. We do? She asked. Yes, you do, Connor mouthed at his sister. We'll use your magic. Oh, right, yeah, Alex played along. I completely forgot about the teleportation device. I have it right here in my hand. It's small and invisible. Boy, it sure is easy to misplace. Bolt was impressed. My dad doesn't even have one of those, he said. How did 2 school journalists get one? Our school has a great science department, Connor said. More on that later. Do you want to go to Paris or not? Alex put her arms around Bolt and Connor and they formed a group hug. She had never magically transported anyone between locations in one of her brother's stories before. She hoped that it would work the same way that it did in the fairy tale world. Alex closed her eyes and visualized the siblings tied to the Eiffel Tower's antenna by an anaconda, and also remembered how desperately she and Connor needed the superheroes to defeat the literary army. Activating the teleportation device, she said. Here goes nothing. With a bright flash, the twins and Bolt disappeared from Professor Wallet's secret laboratory. The first thing they felt was a cool night breeze. They looked around and saw lush rectangular lawns, fountains, and a winding river. There were gorgeous buildings for miles with tall windows, domes, columns, steeples, and a French flag. Every building was lit up like the entire city was in the middle of a photo shoot. We're definitely in Paris, Alex said, but I don't see the Eiffel Tower anywhere. That's because we're in the Eiffel Tower, Connor said. Check it out. After further inspection, she realized they were hundreds of feet in the air. Alex had transported them directly onto the roof of the lower observation deck. The rest of the structure towered above them like a skeleton of a steel giant. It was so tall the twins got vertigo just looking at it. Despite the circumstances, the Eiffel Tower was breathtakingly beautiful. On the ground below, they saw the Snake Lord's circle of serpents keeping the Parisian police at bay. Beyond the police were thousands of French citizens observing the scene. A dozen news helicopters flew in the air around the Eiffel Tower, and they shined their spotlights on Bolt and the twins as soon as they arrived. It was a blessing that they did because the spotlights illuminated Caller Joe and Lizzie Liza sneaking up behind them. Bolt, look out! Connor yelled. Caller Joe leapt towards Bolt and knocked him to the floor. Lizzie Liza stood on her hands and kicked the twins. Alex and Connor rolled across the roof and over the edge. Connor grabbed onto the edge with one hand and his sister with the other. They swung from the roof like a rock climber without a harness. The observers below gasped and screamed. As they climbed over the back ledge, Caller Joe and Lizzie Liza started circling Bolt as he got to his feet. Caller Joe puffed his frilled neck out like an umbrella around his head, and Lizzie Liza scraped her claws on the roof and hissed at the boy. They were like predators surrounding their prey. What a treat, Caller Joe said. All 4 siblings in one day. The Snake Lord will be thrilled. I say, we keep the little one between us, Lizzie Liza said. Could use a snack, if you know what I mean. The overgrown reptiles cocked their heads and laughed. At that moment, Alex noticed something on the roof behind Bolt that had the potential to help him, and she hoped that he'd get the same idea when he saw it. Bolt, look behind you, Alex said. Bolt turned around and saw a bucket of water that she was referring to. He ran to it and kicked it over. The water spilled across the roof as Collar Joe and Lizzie Liza charged after him. Bolt put both hands down and sent electric waves through the spill. The evil sidekick's feet and legs were electrocuted. They hopped around the roof like it was covered in broken glass. They tripped on one another and fell over the edge of the observation deck and never returned. The twins crawled back onto the roof and Bolt helped them to their feet. "Smart thinking," Connor said. "My dad always says science is a superpower in and of itself," Bolt said. With Collar Joe and Lizzie Liza gone, the Snake Lord was the only person preventing them from saving the city. The twins and the youngest sibling went to the edge of the roof and looked up at the Eiffel Tower's highest observation deck. "We've got to get up there," Alex said. "No, it's too dangerous," Bolt said. "You both need to stay here. This is between me and the Snake Lord." Alex opened her mouth to argue, but Connor gave her a look to keep quiet. As he explained before, for the siblings to reunite, Bolt had to face the Snake Lord alone. "Good luck, Bolt," Alex said. "We believe in you," Connor said. Bolt gave them a nervous salute. He flew into the air and ascended the Eiffel Tower, gliding from steel beam to steel beam like a flying squirrel from branch to branch. Eventually, he made it all the way to the roof of the highest observation deck, where he saw the other siblings at the base of the antenna. Blaze, Whitney, and Morph were shocked and upset to see their little brother. "Bolt, what the heck are you doing here?" Blaze asked. "I'm here to save you and the city," Bolt said. "No, get out of here while you still can," Whitney said. "You can't face the Snake Lord alone." "You need to go get Dad," Morph said. "You can't help us. You aren't strong enough." "It doesn't take strength to be a superhero," Bolt said. "It just takes courage." And just like Connor, Bolt pretended that he had a shield to protect him from all the doubt and belittlement his siblings were sending him. He flew over them to the antenna's ladder and climbed the platform where the Snake Lord stood. The Snake Lord reached the final step of the reptilizer's installation, and a pleased grin stretched across his face. It would only be a matter of time before everyone in Paris was transformed into a reptile, and he would have total control over the world's most cosmopolitan city. The Snake Lord was distracted by movement coming from beneath his feet. He looked down at the youngest sibling, pulling himself onto the platform. The Snake Lord kicked Bolt hard in the chest, and he slipped down the ladder. It knocked the wind out of Bolt, but as soon as he caught his breath, he climbed back up. When he reached the platform, the Snake Lord kicked him down again. But now, no matter how many times the Snake Lord kicked Bolt down the ladder, the boy was never going to give up. Even if he was kicked down 100 more times, Bolt was going to do whatever it took to keep the Snake Lord from activating the reptilizer. On the boy's On the boy's fifth trip up the ladder, the Snake Lord stared down at him pityingly. Bolt's determination amused him. Instead of kicking him down again, the Snake Lord grabbed Bolt by the lightning logo on his suit and looked at the boy closely in the eye. "You're a brave little hero, I'll give you that," the Snake Lord said. "But there's a thin line between bravery and stupidity, and I'm afraid you've just crossed it." "And there's a thin line between bad breath and halitosis," Bolt said, "and I'm afraid you crossed that line a long time ago." The remark angered the Snake Lord to no end, so rather than putting Bolt with his siblings, he threw the boy off the antenna. The youngest sibling plummeted towards the ground, falling so fast that he couldn't fly. "Bolt!" the siblings yelled as they watched helplessly. He fell past Alex and Connor on the lower observation deck and landed somewhere among the trees below the Eiffel Tower. It was over before the twins even knew what was happening. They looked at each other in total shock. "This is all my fault," Connor cried. "I pushed him too far. I made him face the Snake Lord when he wasn't ready. I killed him. Now the siblings will never be united." Connor was so ashamed of himself that he buried his face in Alex's shoulders. She felt just as responsible and couldn't find the words to comfort him. "You murderer!" Blaze shouted at the Snake Lord. "How could you do that to a child?" Whitney screamed. "He was just a boy!" Morph shouted. The siblings struggled against the anaconda binding them, but the large snake only tightened its squeeze. The Snake Lord finished the final phase of the reptilizer's installation and laughed uproariously to himself. "The reptilizer is complete," he announced. "Not only have you lost a brother, but once I activate my invention, you'll be the first people in Paris to turn into reptiles." And with no Ziblings left, no one will ever stop me. Soon the whole world will be under my control. The Snake Lord flipped a switch on the reptilizer and the machine came to life. A thick green gas spewed from the antenna and traveled down the Eiffel Tower like a looming fog. But just as it reached the Ziblings below, the Eiffel Tower's power unexpectedly went out. The reptilizer shut off and the green gas dissipated into the night's breeze. What in the name of Ka? The Snake Lord said and desperately tried to restart his machine. As the twins mourned the loss of Bolt, a strange phenomenon occurred to the city around them. Not only did the Eiffel Tower lose its power, but all the buildings in a 10-block radius had blacked out too. It was like the reptilizer had blown Paris's fuse. Wait a second, Alex said. Didn't Bolt say his power comes from absorbing the electricity around him? Yeah, when he was alive, Connor said. But he's dead, isn't he? Suddenly, the twins' hair rose above their head, and their bodies were tickled by a strong wave of friction. They looked down to the streets below to where Bolt had landed, and the trees were buzzing and emitted a glow-broing white light. Bolt launched from the trees like a missile. He was alive and more powerful than ever. Strong electric waves charged out of his body like he was a human plasma ball. His body was producing so much friction that the air hummed around him. His hair stood straight up above his head, and his eyes glowed with energy. Bolt had never looked so confident or capable in his life. It worked, Connor said. Bolt reached his full potential. Go Bolt! Alex yelled. Connor couldn't have been more proud of the little superhero. Watching Bolt flourish made him feel like a part of him had succeeded and beaten the odds too. The twins hugged in celebration. Bolt soared back to the antenna of the Eiffel Tower and pointed a finger at the anaconda and rattlesnake restraining his siblings. He zapped the reptiles with electricity, and the snake curled into a ball and fell to the ground. The siblings couldn't believe their eyes. It took them a moment to realize that their rescuer was their brother. Bolt? Blaze said. You're alive, Whitney said. And powerful, Morph said. The youngest sibling could have gloated, but he could have made his brothers and sister feel lousy as they made him feel, but none of that was as important as saving the city. I have 2 friends on the roof of the lower observation deck, Bolt said. Get to them safely and I'll take care of the Snake Lord. The siblings didn't argue with their brother. Blaze jumped off the tower and a fiery blast erupted from his feet like he was standing on a jetpack. Whitney swung down the Eiffel Tower beam by beam as if her hair were long arms of an orangutan. Morph turned into a huge paper airplane with sunglasses and glided down to the lower observation deck to retrieve the twins. Hop on, Morph told them. Alex and Connor climbed aboard the paper airplane. The siblings escorted them to the rectangular lawns below. Once they were safely on the ground, the twins and the siblings looked up at the Eiffel Tower and anxiously watched as Bolt went head-to-head with the Snake Lord. At the top of the antenna, the Snake Lord was fidgeting with the wires and gears and reptilizer, but nothing he adjusted made the device regenerate. The bolt landed on the platform behind him with so much force that the entire structure rattled. He raised both hands toward the reptilizer and fired with electricity until it exploded. If looks could kill, the Snake Lord would have murdered Bolt with his hateful glare. You think you're powerful? He asked. You have no idea what power is. The eyes on the Snake Lord's helmet started to glow as if they were connected by a wireless frequency that he sent instructions to the serpents guarding the base of the Eiffel Tower. The snake joined their bodies together and formed one monstrous beast. Thousands of snakes made up of hundreds of species were now slithering in perfect synchronicity. The gigantic reptile coiled up the Eiffel Tower towards the antenna to join its master and attack Bolt. The observing twins, siblings, the police, and the Parisian citizens all screamed. They had never seen such a gargantuan creature take form. Bolt only laughed at the approaching giant. In the Snake Lord's ruthless quest for power, the mad scientist had forgotten one basic scientific fact. Science 101, Bolt said. Nothing helps electricity move faster than metal, and you just sent your entire entourage into a steel structure. The Snake Lord's yellow reptilian eyes widened and his pupils shrunk into narrow slits. He had made a grave mistake, and Bolt looked toward the sky above the antenna and sent a wave of friction into the clouds, causing a mighty bolt of lightning to descend and strike the Eiffel Tower. The lightning illuminated the tower and shone more brightly than it ever had in history. Every light bulb on the tower burst, covering it in tiny explosions. The electricity coursing through the structure electrocuted the Snake Lord and his scaly accomplices until there was nothing left of them but burned dust. When the lightning had finished, the thunderous roar erupted throughout Paris. The siblings, the twins, the police, and all the witnessing Parisians cheered and applauded the little superhero. Bolt flew down to the rectangular lawn and joined the twins. Way to go, Connor said. I'd hug you, but I'm definitely not touching you after that. We knew you could do it, Alex said. Blaze, Whitney, and Morph sheepishly stepped towards Bolt. They hung their heads shamefully, feeling so guilty that they couldn't even look their brother in the eye. Bolt, we're so sorry, Blaze said. Thank you for saving our lives, Whitney said. We should have believed in you, Morph said. Bolt stared blankly at his brothers and sister, not knowing what to say to them. A sly grin appeared on his face. It felt good to finally prove himself that he didn't care about proving them wrong. It's okay, he said. All that matters is that I believed in myself, and I definitely will find ways for you to make it up to me. The Ziblings went to speak with the French police and the press. Blaze, Whitney, and Morph gave all the credit for saving the city to their little brother. The reporters crowded around him and praised him for his efforts. The Parisians chanted Bolt's name, and Blaze and Morph lifted their brother onto their shoulders so that the people could get a better look at him. Bolt had never smiled so big in his whole life. He was finally a real superhero. That's so sweet, Alex said. This is such a great story, Connor. Thank you, he said. You know, I've been thinking about it a lot, about what you said in the trunk of the Zibling mobile, and you were right. The Ziblings is definitely about us. Alex took a deep breath. Yeah, I told you, she said. And just to reiterate, I do want to apologize for anything that I might have, but you were wrong about one thing, Connor interrupted. Blaze, Whitney, and Morph aren't based on you. Alex, you might not realize it, but you were the first person to encourage me to write. You're my Professor Wallet, not Mrs. Peters. Me? Alex said. But Mrs. Peters also tried to get me to finish my homework and study for tests, but that never happened either, Connor said. I don't remember the 2nd grade, but I do remember 7th. Just before we went into the fairy tale world to fight the Enchantress, I showed you my stories for the first time and you liked them. You said they were special and you gave me the confidence to keep writing. It was your approval that inspired me. You were my champion. Alex was more relieved than words could describe. Thinking that she had somehow harmed him in the past was the worst feeling in the world. She hugged her brother, squeezing him so tight that he could barely breathe. Professor Wallet appeared in the crowd of Parisians and pushed his way through the people to his children. He was out of breath and sweaty and looked like he had run all the way from Germany. Dad! Bolt said when he saw him. I'm so sorry I didn't get here sooner, the professor said. The Chancellor let me borrow her plane. I've been watching the whole thing unfold on the news. I'm sorry I broke the rules again, Bolt said. I know I was grounded and I shouldn't have left the laboratory, but the others were in danger and I didn't want the Snake Lord to win, so I... Professor was silent when he silenced his son with a hug. The embrace was slightly electrifying, but the professor didn't care. We can talk about the logistics at a different time, Professor Wallet said, but right now, I couldn't be more proud to be your father. It took a lot of bravery for you to save all those people, a bravery you must have found on your own. Paris is known as the City of Lights, but after tonight, I believe it'll be remembered as the City of Lightning. It was a touching display, and many of the observers teared up. The reporters tried sticking their microphones closer to the father and son, but the Ziblings pushed them back to give Bolt and the professor some privacy. It wasn't all thanks to me, Bolt said. If it weren't for my new friends, I never would have found the confidence to come here. They taught me how to believe in myself, and I couldn't have done it without them. Bolt led the professor to the rectangular lawn in front of the Eiffel Tower and introduced him to the twins. Connor and Alex, meet my dad, Professor Wallet, he said. It's a pleasure, the professor said and shook their hands. Thank you for giving my son the inspiration he needed to save his brothers and sister. If there's anything we can do to return the favor, please don't hesitate to ask. Alex and Connor exchanged quick smiles. Well, as a matter of fact, Connor said, we could use your help with something. Dun, dun, dun! Guys, we're almost done with this book. It's crazy. I need to get us a new book. That was very sweet. Very sweet. Oh, it was great. So just as a reminder, we do have Patreon Q&A tonight, which is good because we have a lot of new people and I'm sure they'll want to, I know, right, Claire? Seriously. Want to ask questions about restock. Obviously, everyone can ask questions about restock. I'll show off the restock slime since the Q&A is happening before restock, which we don't usually do. We usually do it after. So I'll be able to show all the slimes that are packaged and like show you guys what they look like and stuff like that, which is fun. Yes, so if anyone cannot make it to tonight's Q&A, there is a post on Patreon right now for you to put your questions on because the Q&A will be recorded. So I will ask I'll read the questions and answer them so that you can see them later if you can't make it to tonight, which is totally fine. I don't have anything else. Should I shower so I don't look like this? I don't know if we're going to be able to do Zoom because I didn't talk to Tressa, and she's the one who has the Zoom account that can fit all the people. But at the very least, we'll have a live. It's not fine? Oh, no. Why is it not fine? I mean, you can shower if you want to. I'm going to shower, but you don't have to. But anyway, we will see if I can get that done. If not, be there or be square. That's right. Be there or be square. I wish YouTube had a thing where I could like add people so they could ask questions that way. That would be really cool. Is there guestability on YouTube? I actually have no idea how that works. Would be cool though. Like TikTok has it where you can like add a person just for them to ask the question. If you're open to using someone else's account, I haven't paid Zoom. Oh, you do? Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not against it. Yeah. It is a little hard for me to manage the 2 screens, but we could try. Oh my gosh, to Texas. B, message us to tell us all about that, because what does that mean? That's wild. All right, I gotta go. Lots of work to do today. I will see you all later.